So that's where we're at, is that. And speaking of other things, where we're at, ICE officials will facilitate abortions for detained illegal immigrants. This is our last story of the day, folks. And it's just, you think things can't get lower. You think things can't get like bottom level, kind of like Joe Biden's poll ratings continue to drop. You think that they can't get lower, but they just do. So President Joe Biden's administration will reportedly instruct ICE detention centers around the country to basically give illegal immigrant women that are in federal custody a right to abortion, and should be transferred to receive one if they're being detained in a state where abortion is illegal. This is where your tax dollars are going, by the way. Not just to feed them, not just to house them, not just to clothe them, not just for the transportation of them, but now you have to pay for their abortion as well. Welcome to 2022 Democrats America. A leaked memo. So this wasn't supposed to be kind of out there for everybody to know about. A leaked memo from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Acting Director Tay Johnson that was reported by the Wall Street Journal instructs that ICE detention centers ensure that pregnant illegal immigrants have access to abortions at taxpayer expense. The memo reportedly cites the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which overturned Roe v. Wade and returned the abortion issue to the states, which is why they have to send them and transport them to the interior of the United States or other avenues on the coastal areas like California to get their abortions on taxpayer dime. This memorandum serves as a reminder of existing ICE policies and standards requiring that pregnant individuals detained in ICE immigration custody have access to full reproductive health care. What's reproductive about that? That's what I'm so confused, and I've tried to do reading on this on the pro-choice advocates. And mind you, I used to be pro-choice. For the vast majority of my life, I was pro-choice. All the way up through college, I was pro-choice. It wasn't until really I started diving deeper into the pro-life movement and actually doing my research that I switched on it. And partly it had to do because in college I did become a Christian at the time. I found Jesus. But that was only half the story. The other half was actually doing research and looking at the reproduction of, health, a human being, all those things. But when they say it's a full reproductive health care, I just don't see how that's the case, because what's being reproduced? Nothing's being produced. I mean, there is a baby being produced, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking in terms of actually giving birth. Nothing's happening. If anything, you're deproducing something, right? You're getting rid of it. You're throwing it in the trash. So it's always baffled me with the pro-choice movement. I just don't understand full reproductive health care. It doesn't click for me. This is also a reminder that pursuant to existing ICE policy, it may be necessary to transfer a detained pregnant individual within an area of responsibility or to another area of responsibility when appropriate and practical in order to ensure such access. ICE policy requires that the agency provide abortions to migrant women who are pregnant by rape or incest or medical emergencies, the journal reports. So what's also a problem about this is that we're basically paying for some people's crimes that never happened in the United States in the first place. And so I bring this up because that's partly the reason why Joe Biden wants to get rid of Title 42 and also the Remain in Mexico policy, is because right there on the border, when there was camps there and they were trying to wait for their papers to be filed and reviewed, is that these women were getting raped in these camps by these other immigrants. And so what they're doing is, because they're getting raped and also having incest, is now they're pouring across the border and getting their abortions paid for that way on taxpayer dollars. And so because those crimes, rather than, if you're going to get an abortion, rather than do it in Mexico, where the crime was ultimately committed for the most part, that they're just going to pour over here and now you get to pay for it. So I hope you're all happy now regarding Joe Biden's another business dealings that he's made now with Mexico and illegal immigrants, because it's only going to get matters worse here. And I do mean worse, because he has over 200,000 people pouring across the border every single month. About 3 million illegal immigrants will be in this country by the end of this year, in Joe Biden's second year in office. Second year. It's so baffling me how this is not like a major issue to most Americans. On a poll wise, it is. Like statistically in polls, this is the number one issue for most Americans. But the ratings for immigration, whenever I do an episode, aren't there. And it could be because I don't have enough subscribers, but that goes for anybody. That's why a lot of people don't post videos on immigration. It just doesn't get the views. And I don't know if there's suppression happening from YouTube or whatever it may be. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's not just my channel. It's Ben Shapiro's channel. It's Steven Crowder. It's Savannah Hernandez. If you look at her, she's done literal reporting, frontline reporting on immigration, showing actual immigrants from her own camera coming across the border, and she just doesn't get the views as well. So it really makes me wonder if there's shadowing going on from YouTube or from these leftist-dominated outlets where they're not allowing this type of algorithm to push out illegal immigration in what it should be, because like I said, it just doesn't get the views. So on Friday, the president announced an executive order intended to expand access to abortion pills, protect the right of women to travel from pro-life states to pro-choice states if they want an abortion, and have federal agencies take other actions that could undermine state enforcement of abortion restrictions. If you want to see how much Joe Biden's willing to bend the knee for anybody and everybody just to get in a vote and support him, it's abortion. He used to be anti-abortion for like the longest time. He wasn't for it, and now he is. Very similar, kind of like how Hillary Clinton was for certain things and then she flip-flopped. You know, and this is why I say he's going to bend the knee to whoever he can just to make sure that he's not ousted or that he can get your vote. And the reason why I say ousted is because I believe he's fully in the pocket of China, which is why you're seeing him being so lax on China, not investigating COVID-19 and the Wuhan virus. We haven't seen anything on that. He's given them 1 million barrels of oil, and those oils just so happen to go to a firm that Hunter Biden has investment dealings with, but we're not going to talk about any of that because we get removed off YouTube. Lastly, Biden called the Supreme Court abortion decision totally wrong-headed and criticized it as an exercise in raw political power. Coming from the guy that literally, through his power, is driving this country into the ground, whether it be immigration issue, inflation by throwing out trillions of dollars of COVID-19 checks, causing us in the situation we're at now, or using his power not to push more domestic oil production, or using his power just to randomly pull out of Afghanistan and allow the Taliban to run roughshod over an entire country, rape and pillage women, perform incest over there, kill a bunch of people, behead a bunch of people, also at the same time leaving Americans behind, hundreds of them behind, if not thousands, depending on what time period you want to look at during the pulling out of Afghanistan. And lastly, having freaking 13 American soldiers dying because of your idiotic pulling out policy. But he's going to talk to us about the wrong-headedness of it and an exercise in political power. Get out of here with that. This guy's so freaking hypocritical, it's ridiculous. And the left are going to continue to support him. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.